We want to go really quickly to Peter Doocy in the spin room. He's with Senator Amy Klobuchar, a person that tonight a lot of the pundits out there think she won this whole thing and had her best night yet. Peter.
Shannon Bream, the anchor, just said that there are a lot of analysts saying you won tonight. Is that how you see it?
Well, I think what we need to do is have the American people win. And that's the case that I made, that we need a president that can bring people together, our fired up Democratic base, but also independents and moderate Republicans, many of whom watch Fox. And so I made the case. I think I was the only one that raised my hand when they said, do you have a problem with the socialists running the ticket? I said yes.
And is this election going to be decided then? Is this a capitalism versus socialism primary?
I think that's just a unique characteristic of Senator Sanders. But what I think this primary is about is deciding which candidate can actually lead our country so we can take on the challenges we have. We know what they are. My Republican colleagues know what they are. Pharmaceutical prices out of control, not enough investment in infrastructure, a president that doesn't even care about the deficit, something I actually raised.
And you raised a lot of points about Pete Buttigieg's record. Joe Biden's out there talking about how he thinks one of the New England senators is going to win, but you singled out Pete Buttigieg more than anybody else on the stage. Is he the person to beat here? Is that why?
No, I think I said things about a lot of the candidates, including Senator Sanders and Senator Warren, and had an argument with Tom Steyer about the trade agreement that I had supported, that he did not support. So I didn't just focus on one person. But when it came to the mayor, I do think it's important that people get that experience matters, and that I am someone that has been able to pass over 100 bills with Republicans since I got to the Senate. I think that means something. And I did not like what he said about turning on the cartoons instead of watching the impeachment hearing. I didn't think that that was appropriate. And when you're a leader, whether Republican or Democrat, if you don't agree with what's happening or not, you don't just turn away and make a joke about it.
Well, you sat through all of it, and there are dozens, if not hundreds, of reporters that want to talk to you. So, Senator Klobuchar, thank you. Shannon, back to you.
All right, Peter Doocy, we will check back with you. Thank you very much. And our thanks to the senator.